Hello people, Angelo here, and welcome to my Whirlwind Templar build. This build is I would argue, it's sort of like the perfect middle ground between throw arms and onslaught. It has a lot of the upsides of both. The spam ability of throw arms is also good against humanoid and giant enemies, and also has decent damage similar to onslaught, especially against humanoids. So really, it's just a sort of best of both worlds type option. But let's get right into what you need to make this build work so you can make the build yourself. So first, we kick it off with mutations. You need the Whirlwind / level 3. Unlike throw arms, which generally you have to keep to level 2 to get the best out of it, Whirlwind / you can put level 3, so that gives you max femto capacity with it and everything. A very nice little ability. And the star of the show here. And of course, for your general action, you need limit change for the infinite stamina, level 3, to get the most out of it. And really, nothing matters here too much, but I've just got the general stuff. I'm not sure why that's equipped. Get rid of that. I'm not sure, really, outside of just femto effectiveness, recovery, melee, outer, like that's just the general good stuff, you know. But overall, limit change and the Whirlwind / are the most important things when it comes to this build itself, because they sort of make the build. Now, moving on to the gear, we have the base weapon being either the Flacalach, I mispronounced that probably, and the Cronus Blake 2. Try and get as high attributes you can, and then get 3 level 3s of that attribute, upgrade to the max, and you got pretty much already most of what you need for this build. Then if you do want to pick a different option, if you get a good scaling for your attribute in the Memento Mori, you can also use that, though I would just recommend sticking to the 2 major ones because they give you the best stats of the 2 types. For your shield, bullet feed with macro barrier equipped as an ability, obviously, is just the go-to. It's a great ability, great shield. It's good for dealing with rapid fire spamming missiles and lasers and similar bosses like that. Especially with limit change where you don't have to worry about stamina being drained out. Just a very nice setup. And of course, auxiliary, propellant tank 2. You want as much femto as possible, so getting a good propellant tank. Number 2 is great. Farm Legion for it. Get as high as possible. Get as much extra femto as possible, because you want to be able to do as many whirlwind slashes as possible in the fight without having to try and go and find a crystal or something to restock. And certain areas don't even give you that option, so you want to make sure you have as much as possible to try and last as much of the fight as possible. Now, the shoulder, you have a bit more wiggle room. I prefer Devotion 2, though you can use Wrath of God, you could use the Rampage Hammer, you could use Oak Break if you want to try and swap stuff around to get more memory capacity. You could use Deadly Drive. Again, you'd have to swap some stuff around to get memory capacity. And generally, I just feel like, sure, those are good options, but personally, my taste has always been extra heals. Now, headpiece, there's 2 options here. The Gozo, and I don't have the other helmet, but the light variant of the Zerutraw set. Or is it medium? I forget if it's light or medium, but that is the other option, but I go with Gozo because that's what I got on hand, though the other one does work well. For the chest, there's 3 options. Either the Primus Palus, decent femto, decent speed, decent VP. You can also go with the Berserker setup, the basic variation, I believe it is. Where is that located? There we go. Little less femto, a little more VP, a little better defense on the physical, but other stuff goes down. But it's a good option if, like, you don't want to use the Palace set and you want something a little bit better when it comes to stun resistance and, like, flinch resistance and stuff like that. So you also can go and use this set. I'm not even going to try and pronounce the name because I will get it completely wrong. But great shield version of this set with triple upgrade, or a wingsuit version with triple upgrade, wing shift version. Triple upgrade is pretty good as well because it gives you good, like, memory, good femto, good VP, good flinch resist, all the nice stuff you like. It also gives you the shield ability. So let's say you want to drop this, you can do that for your shield. Again, and it's better against groups. So honestly, depends what you personally like. For the arms, the new Omega Amalgam arms are really what makes this build possible, since they have a default great brawl performance of at minimum 200, and 3 brawl boosters will give you a nice stack on with that. You only really need to upgrade the arm you're using a weapon in, but upgrading both, you can stack one with whatever other stat you want, maybe VP, something to do with flinch, something to do with stun, and the other arm you can stack with brawl performance, which is going to be your attacker's arm, which gives you just a nice boost in damage. Legs, again, there's a few options. Berserk, or the one I'm not even going to try and pronounce, are the 2 good options. Trying to get like flinch resist or femto capacity just stacked on, actually not, yeah, femto capacity stacked on are generally what you would go for, just so you're not getting stunned by those more aggressive enemies. Now, if you do not have the Omega Arms, or you want to use this to farm Omega Arms, you get Muramesa from Solomon, triple brawl performance, and then to make up for the femto loss, you get the Palace Arms, triple memory capacity, and that will pretty much be what you use until you get the Omega version. And overall, that's all you need to make this build. It's a very straightforward, simple build to use. It doesn't really have anything too complex. It's just a little bit more work to get to, purely because you have to go and fight the Omega bosses if you want to get the best possible version. Anyway, let's do a boss fight just to showcase how it works. And to really show how good this is, we're going to do it against the possibly tankiest boss in the game, Sibel Omega. So let's just get to spinning people, and you can see right off the bat that big chunk of damage. Like, you do have to sort of be careful where you hit, because enemies do have a bit of a weird hitbox, especially with this attack in the game. So you want to be very, very particular where you hit. So it's still decent with the femto, so it's not as bad, but just be careful to be safe. You don't want to waste any femto, because that means you have more downtime, and more downtime means the fight takes longer. Than, let's be honest, if you want to farm, you want to make this fight as quick as possible. Anyway, let's get some heals in. Thankfully, I knocked him out, because I think he was going to go for the dive bomber, which I don't really want to deal with. And we pretty much already got a third of his health down in like less than a minute, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure how well that's going to stick, because really it is a bit of RNG on what attack he goes for, because he might just start spamming the plunge attack over and over, which if he does that can really mess up how quick the fight is, due to the fact you have to wait for him to get back in range. Anyway, let's get some heals so we don't get knocked out of limit chain. Just keep on the attack, people, come on. I keep missing the first hit, which is really messing up my damage, but it doesn't matter, we've gone to half health. So let's get right back into range. And of course, as I've said, the greatest thing about this is it works against humanoid and big enemies. So if you want to use this against Solomon, you want to use this against Gearworm, you really want to use it against Legion even, you can use it against them. It's just note, against humanoid enemies, that down slam at the end does knock an enemy back. So if you want to like avoid the knockback, you will have to like turn the last attack away, which means you will lose a little bit of damage. But if you want to just switch over to like Wrath of God as like missiles, you can just switch to that against something like Legion or Gearworm or something, and just blast them with that as you close the distance and get that extra missile damage in between. If you don't mind not having some free heals equipped. So that is what is great about this, is the adaptability to be able to change like one weapon to like for the situation. Anyway, we've almost got him done. And we still got like a nice stack of femto, and we got more than enough like for this fight, I'm going to be honest. We got like more than enough femto for this fight. I just missed a few hits. Thankfully, didn't cost us too much. And this should be the last hit, I think. There we go. Beautiful fight. Beautiful fight. And yeah, that's not, let's just grab the core, not a better version. Anyway, I hope this little video here was helpful in making the build and giving you new ideas on what to do. generally I've been thinking about a build to give, because like I don't want to just put out a build I don't think would be helpful against these harder bosses. That's generally why like I don't put out general utility builds. I only really put out stuff for like hard fights that you might need that extra boost against. Maybe like down the road I'll do a utility build for like general missions and general activities that these kind of more targeted towards bosses builds don't work against. But until then, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have fun with the build, and I hope it adds to your repertoire, and I hope it encourages you to make your own builds and your own like ideas for the game and share them with the world. Anyway, with that, until next time, have a great day and peace out. Peace.